You learned very early that loving your parents did not always feel safe. You felt it in your body before you had words for it. The tension, the silence, the effort to be good, to be loyal, to not cause more pain than what already existed. You may not consciously think about your parents every day, but something inside you still reacts as if the conversation never ended. A tone of voice can freeze you. Authority can make you shrink or fight back. Closeness can feel confusing, and distance can feel like guilt. This is not weakness. This is not immaturity. This is not because you haven't moved on. This is what happens when a child had to carry something that belonged to the system, not to them. In Family Constellations, Bert Hellinger observed something simple and profound. A child cannot be free while they are unconsciously trying to fix, judge, save, or replace a parent. And most people do this without ever realizing it.
You may have tried to understand your parents. You may have tried to forgive them. You may have tried to confront them. Or you may have tried to emotionally disappear. But healing does not begin with explanations. It begins with order. There is a place where peace becomes possible, and it is not found by changing your parents. It is found by changing your inner position toward them. You were small. They were big. Even if they failed. Even if they hurt you. Even if they could not give what you needed. In the soul, facts matter more than intentions. A child who does not accept the parents as they are remains bound to them through pain. A child who accepts them as they are becomes free to live their own life. This is where solution phrases come in. Not as affirmations, not as positive thinking, not as magic words, but as sentences that restore what was interrupted in the system.
Because there are things a child needs to say inwardly in order to stop fighting life. One of the most powerful movements in Constellations is when an adult child finally says, inside, "You are my parents. I am your child." This sounds simple, but for many people, it feels almost impossible. Because saying this means giving up the hope that it could have been different. And hope, when it is misplaced, keeps us trapped. You may still be waiting for your parents to see you, to understand you, to apologize, to change. And as long as you wait, part of your life is on hold. Bert Hellinger often said that healing comes when we bow to reality. Not because reality was good, but because reality is what it is. There is a sentence that carries enormous weight when spoken inwardly, slowly, honestly. I take you as my parents, exactly as you are. Not as you should have been, not as I wished you were, not as I needed you to be. Exactly as you are. When this sentence lands, something relaxes in the body. The shoulders drop. The breath deepens. The constant inner resistance softens. Because resistance keeps the bond alive through suffering. Acceptance allows love to flow without pain. Many conflicts with parents are not really conflicts with them anymore. They are conflicts between the adult you are and the child you still carry inside. The child who had to grow up too fast. The child who learned to be strong instead of being held. The child who stayed loyal by carrying sadness, anger, or responsibility. And loyalty is powerful. You don't struggle because you're weak. You struggle because you're loyal. In family constellations, we see this again and again. Children remain entangled because love flows downward, not upward. A child cannot carry the emotional burden of a parent without paying a price. That price often shows up later as anxiety, relationship difficulties, chronic guilt, or a feeling of never being enough. There is a solution phrase for this movement, one that restores balance. What belongs to you, I leave with you. What belongs to me, I keep. This is not rejection. This is respect. When you stop carrying what is not yours, you honor your parents' dignity. You stop interfering with their fate, and you reclaim your own. Another deeply healing sentence is, "You gave me life, and that is enough." For some people, this sentence brings tears immediately because they want it more. And it is okay that they want it more. But life itself is the greatest gift. Everything else is secondary. When you acknowledge this, something essential aligns inside you. You stop standing above your parents in judgment, and you stop standing below them in resentment. You stand in your place, and from that place, your own life can finally move forward. Before we go deeper, if this is resonating with you and you feel this work speaks directly to your experience, take a moment to support the channel. Give this video a like and subscribe. It helps this content reach people who are carrying these same invisible burdens and don't yet have words for them. Conflicts with parents often repeat in other relationships. You may notice similar dynamics with partners, bosses, or even your own children. This is not coincidence. When the original bond is unresolved, the pattern looks for another stage to play itself out. For example, if you felt unseen by a parent, you may seek partners who cannot fully see you. If you felt controlled, you may oscillate between submission and rebellion. If you felt responsible for a parent's emotions, you may attract people who unconsciously ask you to save them. The system is not punishing you. It is asking for completion. And completion does not come through confrontation. It comes through inner sentences that restore order. Another solution phrase that carries deep healing is, "I honor your fate." This is especially important when a parent suffered greatly, was absent, or caused harm. To honor a parent's fate does not mean agreeing with what happened. It means acknowledging that their life unfolded as it did, before you existed, without your control. When a child tries to rewrite a parent's fate, they become entangled. When they honor it, they become free. You may also need to say, "I am just the child, you are the parent." Many people reverse this order unconsciously. They become the emotional parent, the listener, the stabilizer, the one who holds everything together. And later, they wonder why life feels heavy. Restoring this sentence can feel frightening at first, because it means letting go of a role that gave you identity. But it also gives you something back: lightness. In some cases, there is anger that feels too big to release. Anger that protected you when nothing else could. In those moments, the solution phrase is not forgiveness. It is truth. I am angry because I was hurt. This sentence honors the child's experience without attacking the parent. From there, another movement becomes possible. And now,
I leave this with you. Healing does not erase the past. It changes how the past lives inside you. When these sentences are spoken inwardly, slowly, with respect, something shifts in the field. You are no longer trying to be right. You are trying to be whole. And wholeness always comes with humility. There is a sentence Bert Hellinger considered one of the most powerful for adult children. Please look kindly on me if I live a good life. This sentence acknowledges that life flows from parents to children, and from children forward.
When you live well, you honor your parents more than any sacrifice ever could. Conflicts soften not because parents change, but because the inner battle ends. And when the inner battle ends, your nervous system finally rests. This is where healing truly begins. Not with analysis, not with blame, not with distance, but with sentences that restore love to its rightful place. And love, when it is ordered, no longer hurts. You learned how to survive inside your family long before you learned how to live freely. And survival always has a cost. When a child adapts too much, they lose contact with what they feel. When a child resists too much, they lose contact with belonging. Either way, something essential gets interrupted. Many adult conflicts with parents are not really about the present. They are echoes of unfinished movements from the past, words that were never said, grief that was never allowed, boundaries that could not exist.
In family constellations, we don't try to resolve these conflicts by arguing with history. We resolve them by restoring what was missing at the right time. And often, what was missing was not love, but permission. Permission to be small. Permission to need. Permission to not understand. A child who did not receive this permission often grows into an adult who feels uncomfortable receiving anything at all. You may recognize this in yourself. You give easily, but receiving feels awkward. You help, but asking feels heavy. You are strong, but resting feels unsafe. This is not a personality trait. It is a system memory. One of the most healing inner sentences for this pattern is simple, yet deeply destabilizing to the old order. I was small. You were big. For many people, this sentence brings resistance because being small once felt dangerous. Being small meant being ignored, or overwhelmed, or blamed, or invisible.
So the child grew upward too fast. But no child can replace a parent without losing something essential: innocence. When this sentence is allowed to land, slowly, without force, it often brings a wave of sadness. Not dramatic sadness, quiet sadness. The sadness of recognizing what never had a chance to be. And this sadness is not a setback, it is a doorway. Because grief completes what struggle could not. Another powerful movement in healing conflicts with parents is acknowledging limitation. Many adult children secretly believe that if they had behaved differently, their parents would have been different too. Kinder, calmer, more present, less destructive. This belief keeps the child in a place of false responsibility. The solution sentence for this illusion is, you did what you could with what you had. This sentence does not excuse harm. It releases the child from the fantasy of control. Because as long as you believe you could have changed your parents, part of you will keep trying, even now. Letting go of this belief can feel like giving up. But what you are really giving up is self-blame. And self-blame is one of the deepest forms of loyalty. Some conflicts persist because a child is unconsciously aligned with a parent against the other. This happens often when one parent suffered, was weak, abandoned, or victimized. The child says inwardly, without words, "I will stand with you. I will not leave you alone." And the price is paid later through relationship instability, guilt when being happy, or difficulty committing to one's own life. The healing sentence here is subtle and precise. I am your child. Your partner is your partner. This restores the correct bond. When a child steps out of a parental alliance, they may feel disloyal at first, but what actually happens is relief.
Because children were never meant to be witnesses to adult pain. They were meant to be protected from it. Another common entanglement arises when a parent was absent, emotionally or physically. The child may still be waiting for a look, waiting for recognition, waiting for proof that they mattered. Waiting is exhausting. The solution sentence here is not confrontation, it is closure. I see that you were not available, and I stop waiting. This sentence does not close the heart, it frees it. Because waiting keeps you facing backward. Stopping allows you to turn toward your own life. There is also a deep movement when a child was rejected, consciously or unconsciously. Rejection can be loud, or it can be subtle. A look that says, "You are too much." A silence that says, "You are not welcome." A comparison that says, "You are not enough." The child often responds by trying harder, better grades, more achievement, more self-control. But healing comes when effort stops. The sentence that restores dignity is, "I belong," even if it didn't feel that way. Belonging is a fact, not a reward. You belong because you exist. And you exist because life said yes to you through your parents. Another layer of conflict emerges when parents are idealized. Idealization looks positive on the surface, but it hides fear underneath. Fear of seeing the truth. Fear of losing love. Fear of facing disappointment. An idealized parent cannot be approached honestly, and the child cannot relax. The healing sentence here is, "I allow you to be human." This sentence brings parents down to size, not to diminish them, but to free the child. Because only human parents can be left behind. Perfect parents must be carried forever. In some cases, anger remains the dominant emotion. Anger that feels righteous. Anger that feels protective. Anger that feels necessary. Anger often guards grief, and grief guards love. The system does not ask you to let go of anger prematurely. It asks you to listen to it. What was crossed? What was lost? What was never acknowledged? The sentence that opens this space is, "Something was taken from me." This sentence is not accusation, it is recognition. From there, another movement becomes possible. And now, I choose to live anyway. This is where strength becomes life-affirming, not defensive. Healing conflicts with parents also means recognizing where you stopped. Many people are physically adults, but emotionally paused at a certain age. An age where something happened, or didn't happen. You may notice this pause when you feel younger than your age in certain situations, or when authority triggers you unexpectedly. The sentence that helps integrate this is, "That was then, this is now."
Simple words. Powerful boundary.
They separate past danger from present reality. Another deeply stabilizing sentence is, I survived, and now I live. Survival kept you alive. Living allows you to move forward. Sometimes the conflict is not with what parents did, but with what they could not give. Affection, protection, guidance. Acknowledging this absence without collapsing into victimhood is a delicate movement. The sentence that holds this balance is, I missed you, and I go on. Missing honors the bond. Going on honors life. In family constellations, healing is not about becoming independent from parents by force. It is about becoming free through connection. When the bond is ordered, separation becomes natural. You don't need to fight your parents to leave them. You leave them by taking what was given, life. This is why one of the final integrating sentences is always, I take life from you, and I will make something good of it. Not perfect.
Not exceptional. Good. This sentence often brings quiet strength because it shifts focus from the past to responsibility for the present. And responsibility, when freely chosen, feels empowering. Conflicts with parents soften when the inner dialogue changes. Not because the story changes, but because your place in the story does. You are no longer the child waiting, fixing, judging, or carrying. You are the adult who has received enough to go on. And that is where healing continues, quietly, steadily, truthfully. There is a moment in healing when a struggle becomes familiar, almost comfortable. Not because it feels good, but because it feels known. Many people stay in conflict with their parents not because they want to, but because conflict became a form of connection. When love did not flow freely, tension took its place. Arguments, distance, silence, internal dialogues that never end. All of these keep the bond alive.
In family constellations, Bert Hellinger pointed to something difficult to accept at first. Even suffering can be a way of staying loyal. A child may unconsciously say, if I carry pain, I stay connected to you. This is why some conflicts do not resolve, even after years of therapy, insight, or confrontation. The mind understands, but the soul remains bound. The soul does not respond to logic. It responds to movement. One of the most important inner movements in conflicts with parents is turning away from accusation and toward life. Accusation looks backward. Life moves forward. As long as part of you is turned toward what should have been different, your energy is divided. This inner sentence often marks a deep shift. I turn toward my life now. Simple words, radical impact. Because turning toward life means turning away from waiting. Waiting for recognition. Waiting for repair. Waiting for justice. Justice in the system does not come through balance of pain. It comes through acceptance of what is. Another hidden layer in conflicts with parents is the fear of surpassing them. Many adult children unconsciously limit their success, happiness, or freedom out of loyalty. They may think, if I am happier than you were, I betray you. If my relationship works and yours didn't, I leave you behind. If I live fully,
I expose your suffering. This loyalty is silent and heavy. The healing sentence here is precise and respectful. I allow myself to have more than you. This sentence does not diminish parents. It honors the direction of life. Life flows from parents to children, and it wants to grow. When children do better, life succeeds. Parents at the soul level want this, even if they could not show it. Another important movement is releasing the need to be seen.
This may sound counterintuitive because being seen is a fundamental need. But when the need remains unmet, it can turn into a lifelong hunger. A hunger that no relationship can satisfy. The inner sentence that softens this hunger is, I see myself. This is not self-sufficiency. It is self-recognition. When you see yourself, your pain, your effort, your survival, the desperate need for parental validation loosens. And when it loosens, relationships become freer. There is also the question of forgiveness. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. In systemic work, forgiveness is not a moral act. It is not required, and it cannot be forced. What heals is not forgiveness, but acknowledgement. Acknowledgement of what happened. Acknowledgement of its impact. Acknowledgement that it cannot be undone. The sentence that holds this is, it was painful for me. No blame, no justification, just truth. Truth brings dignity back to the child.
From that place, something else may arise naturally, or not, and that is okay. Another deeply healing movement is recognizing where you copied a parent's fate. Sometimes, a child unconsciously repeats patterns as a way of staying close. Similar relationships, similar failures, similar emotional isolation. This repetition is not stupidity, it is love. The sentence that begins to interrupt this pattern is, I see your suffering, and I do not need to repeat it. This sentence can bring fear, because repeating feels safer than choosing the unknown. But life is not asking you to abandon your parents. It is asking you to stop representing them. Parents are complete with their fate. Children are free to choose their own. Conflicts also persist when gratitude is blocked. Gratitude does not mean approval. It means recognition of what was given. And what was given always is life. When gratitude is blocked, energy stagnates.
The healing sentence here is often very emotional. Thank you for my life. For some people, these words feel impossible, and that impossibility is meaningful. It shows where pain still speaks louder than truth. Life came through your parents, not because they were perfect, but because life is stronger than imperfection. Acknowledging this does not erase suffering. It places it in a larger context. There is also the movement of leaving parents emotionally. Many adults live physically separate lives, but emotionally remain entangled. They seek approval. They fear disapproval. They react as if still under authority. Leaving emotionally is not rejection. It is maturation. The sentence that supports this is, I am grown now. Not said with rebellion, said with calm. I am grown now, and I carry responsibility for my life. This sentence can bring grounding, because adulthood is not about independence from parents.
It is about responsibility for oneself. Another important layer is mourning the parents you did not have. Not the parents you did have,
but the ones you needed. This mourning is often postponed indefinitely. People say, "It could have been worse. They did their best. I shouldn't complain." These sentences bypass grief. But grief needs space. The sentence that opens that space is, "I needed more." This sentence is not an accusation. It is an acknowledgement of a child's truth. When grief is allowed, it does not destroy gratitude. It deepens it. Because you stop expecting the past to change. And expectation is what keeps pain alive. There is a quiet moment in systemic healing when effort stops. When you are no longer trying to fix the relationship, or explain yourself, or prove anything. This is often marked by the sentence, "I let it be as it is." This sentence does not mean giving up. It means standing in reality.
Reality is where strength lives. Conflicts with parents also affect how we relate to authority in general. Bosses, institutions, rules. If authority felt unsafe early on, the nervous system stays alert. The healing sentence here is, "I am safe now," said not as reassurance, but as orientation. Now is not then. Your body may still react, but your inner adult can lead. Another subtle but powerful movement is reclaiming joy. Many children learned that joy was inappropriate, or dangerous, or selfish. They learned to stay serious, responsible, alert. Joy then feels foreign. The sentence that invites it back is gentle. I allow myself to enjoy. Enjoyment is not betrayal. It is aliveness. Parents at the soul level want their children alive. There is also the question of boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they are clarity. When boundaries were not respected, children either collapse or harden.
The healing sentence here is, "This is mine." And equally important, that is yours. These sentences restore separation where there was confusion. Separation is necessary for love to flow without harm. As conflicts soften internally, something changes externally too. Conversations become shorter, reactions less intense, distance less charged. Not because everything is resolved, but because you are no longer fighting for your place. You have taken it. In systemic terms, healing with parents is complete when gratitude flows without obligation and distance exists without guilt. This does not mean closeness disappears. It means choice appears. Choice is freedom. And freedom is what every child seeks, not against parents, but through them. Before we continue further into this process, take a moment to reflect. Which sentence touched something in you? Which one brought resistance? Which one felt like relief?
If you feel called, share in the comments which phrase resonated most with your experience. Your words may help someone else recognize their own path toward healing. There is a quieter layer of conflict that often goes unnoticed. It is not loud. It does not argue. It simply drains. This is the conflict of unfinished permission. Many adult children live as if they still need consent to exist fully. Consent to choose differently. Consent to be happy. Consent to rest. Even when parents are no longer present, their inner image still holds authority. In family constellations, this shows up as a subtle hesitation toward life. You may notice it when opportunities appear and you pull back, when relationships deepen and you sabotage, when joy arrives and guilt follows. This hesitation is not fear of failure. It is fear of separation. Because somewhere inside, being fully alive still feels like leaving your parents behind.
The healing sentence here is both gentle and strong. I go on with your blessing. This sentence does not require parents to actually give that blessing. It acknowledges that at the level of life, the blessing already exists. Life does not move forward without consent. Another deep source of conflict is identification. A child may unconsciously say, I am like you. I carry what you carry. I will not be different. This identification often forms when a parent suffered greatly, was rejected, or was excluded. The child steps in, not with words, but with destiny. They may take on similar emotions, similar illnesses, similar loneliness. This is not imitation. It is belonging. The sentence that begins to release this identification is respectful and clear. You are you. I am me. Simple words, strong boundary. When this sentence is allowed, the child steps back into their own outline. And something important happens. Compassion remains, but fusion dissolves. Another layer emerges when parents are judged internally. Judgment often masks pain. A child judges to survive, to create distance from what hurts. But judgment keeps the bond active through tension. The healing sentence here is not approval. It is humility. I don't know what it was like for you. This sentence opens space. It does not erase the child's pain. It simply acknowledges the limits of perspective. From this place, understanding may grow, or not, but struggle softens. There is also the conflict of comparison. Some children were compared to siblings. Others compared parents to each other. Comparison fractures belonging. A child who feels less fights to prove worth. A child who feels more carries guilt. The healing sentence is, I am one of the children. This sentence restores equality. No hierarchy of worth. No competition for love.
Just place. Another powerful movement in healing conflicts with parents is recognizing inherited emotion. Not all feelings are personal. Some sadness belongs to previous generations. Some fear was learned, not lived. When emotions feel older than your own life, they often are. The sentence that helps differentiates is, this is not mine. And, when appropriate, I leave it where it belongs. This is not denial, it is discernment. Carrying ancestral emotion does not honor the ancestors, it weakens the descendants. Parents do not need their children to suffer for them, they need their children to live. Sometimes, conflicts persist because the child is still seeking a place in the family, even as an adult. They try to be special, or invisible, or indispensable. The healing sentence here is grounding. My place is given. You do not earn your place. You do not negotiate it. You are born into it.
This sentence often brings relief to people who have spent their lives trying to justify their existence. Another subtle conflict arises when a child was used, emotionally, practically, or psychologically. Used as a confidant, used as support, used as replacement. The child may feel needed, but not seen. The healing sentence restores dignity. I give back what was not appropriate for me to carry. This sentence does not accuse, it returns weight. And when weight is returned, the body often feels lighter. There is also the matter of loyalty to pain.
Some people fear that healing means betraying their story, that if the pain softens, it means it wasn't that bad. This fear is understandable. The sentence that addresses it is compassionate. My pain mattered, and I don't need it anymore. Pain can be honored without being preserved. Another important movement is allowing parents to be complete.
Many adult children still see their parents as unfinished projects. They want to fix, heal, educate. This keeps the child involved. The healing sentence is, I leave you with your life. This sentence returns responsibility to where it belongs. Parents are complete, even with their wounds. Children are free, even with their history. There is also healing in recognizing the cost of loyalty. Loyalty that required silence. Loyalty that required self-erasure. Loyalty that required emotional vigilance. The sentence that brings awareness is, I paid a price. This sentence validates effort without demanding repayment. From there, another sentence becomes possible. And now, I choose differently. Choice appears where compulsion once ruled. Another layer of conflict involves timing. Some things could not be said when you were young, but now the inner adult can speak. The sentence that honors this is, now I can say it.
This does not mean confrontation. It means inner completion. Healing does not always require the other person's presence. The system listens when truth is spoken inwardly. As conflicts soften, something unexpected may arise. Gratitude. Not forced gratitude, not moral gratitude. Quiet gratitude. For survival, for strength, for life. This gratitude does not erase pain, it integrates it. And integration is the goal. Not harmony, not perfection, integration. When the inner system reorganizes, outer conflict loses its charge. You may still disagree, you may still keep distance, but the bond is no longer tight with suffering. It is loose with respect. This is the difference between being bound and being connected. And this is where healing continues, not dramatically, but steadily, as life moves forward through you. There is a phase in healing where nothing dramatic seems to happen anymore. No big insights. No emotional releases. Just a quiet rearrangement inside. Many people doubt this phase. They think healing has stopped. But in family constellations, this is often the most important movement. Because what is reorganizing now is not emotion, it is orientation. You are no longer asking, what happened to me? You are beginning to ask, where am I facing? Conflict with parents loses power when your inner gaze shifts from them to your own path. This shift can feel unsettling at first. Parents were once the center of gravity. Their approval, their disapproval, their absence, their presence. When that center dissolves, a strange emptiness can appear. Not loneliness, space. And space can feel unfamiliar to those who lived in constant emotional negotiation. The healing sentence for this phase is quiet and grounding. I stand on my own feet. This sentence is not defiance, it is orientation.
Standing on your own feet does not remove love for parents. It changes its direction. Love no longer pulls you backward, it stands behind you. Another subtle conflict often emerges here, fear of repetition. Many adult children worry that if they relax their vigilance, they will become like their parents. They think, if I let go, I will repeat what hurt me. If I soften, I will lose control. This fear keeps tension alive. The healing sentence that addresses this fear is, I can choose differently. Not because you reject your parents, but because awareness creates space. You are not your parents' fate. You are their continuation. And continuation does not mean duplication. Another layer appears when responsibility becomes clear. Not responsibility for parents, but responsibility for your own life. This responsibility can feel heavy at first. Blaming the past gives structure. Choosing the present requires courage.
The sentence that supports this transition is, my life is in my hands now. This sentence does not deny history. It acknowledges timing. There was a time when your life depended on your parents. That time has passed. Some conflicts persist because the child still seeks compensation. Compensation for pain, for neglect, for injustice. They may look for it in relationships, work, or recognition. But no one can compensate for parents. The healing sentence here is honest and sobering. What I didn't receive, I didn't receive. This sentence ends negotiation with the past. It does not erase longing, it grounds it. From here, a new movement becomes possible. And I will find my way forward. Forward does not mean forgetting. It means building. Another important shift occurs when parents are seen as sources, not destinations. You come from them. You do not go toward them.
This sentence often realigns the system. You are my origin. I am my own life. Origin gives direction. Destination gives movement. When parents are mistaken for destinations, life stalls. Another conflict arises when adult children feel responsible for a parent's loneliness, illness, or regret. They stay close out of fear. Fear that leaving emotionally will cause harm. The healing sentence here is compassionate and clear. Your feelings belong to you. This sentence does not withdraw love. It withdraws substitution. You cannot live a parent's unresolved life for them, and you were never meant to. There is also a moment when gratitude matures. Early gratitude is often mixed with obligation. Later gratitude is free. The sentence that marks this maturation is, I am grateful, and I am free. Gratitude without freedom becomes debt. Freedom without gratitude becomes denial. Together, they create balance.
Some conflicts soften when the inner image of parents changes. They become smaller, not diminished, human. This allows the child to grow without guilt. The healing sentence here is, you can be as you are. I will be as I am. This sentence allows coexistence without interference. Another subtle but powerful movement is releasing the need to explain yourself. Many adult children still rehearse explanations internally, justifications, defenses. This keeps the conversation alive inside. The healing sentence is, I don't need to explain. This does not mean secrecy. It means self-trust. Your life does not require parental permission anymore. Another layer involves time. Some conflicts remain alive because the inner child is still waiting for one more chance. One more conversation, one more apology, one more moment of recognition. The sentence that gently closes this waiting is, that time has passed. This sentence can feel sad, but sadness here is honest. It releases energy trapped in expectation, and released energy becomes available for living. There is also healing in recognizing how far you have already come. Many adult children minimize their resilience. They focus on what is still painful. The sentence that honors the journey is,
I survived. I learned. I am here. Recognition builds inner stability. As inner stability grows, conflicts lose urgency. They no longer define you. They become part of your story, not the center. Another important movement is choosing your own rhythm. Many people grew up adapting to a parent's emotional pace. Fast, slow, chaotic, rigid. The healing sentence here is, I move at my pace now. This sentence restores bodily autonomy. Your nervous system begins to regulate differently. Calmer, more responsive, less reactive. At this stage, healing is no longer about parents.
It is about alignment. Alignment between your body, your choices, and your direction. Parents remain part of the picture, but no longer the focal point. They are behind you, and behind you is where support belongs. This is how conflict transforms into background, not erased, integrated. And integration allows life to move forward, quietly, steadily, with more room to breathe. There comes a moment when healing is no longer something you actively do. It becomes something you notice. You notice that certain conversations no longer trigger the same reaction, that distance feels cleaner, that closeness feels lighter. Not perfect, but different. In family constellations, this moment is understood as completion. Not completion of the past, but completion of the child's movement toward adulthood. You are no longer positioned in front of your parents, asking, demanding, or resisting. You are positioned after them. This changes everything.
Because when you stand after your parents, life flows through you instead of stopping at them. One of the clearest signs of this shift is neutrality. Not indifference, but calm. You may still disagree. You may still feel sadness. You may still choose distance, seen as part of something larger. They are no longer isolated figures in your story. They are links in a chain. They came from somewhere. They carried something. They passed something on. This perspective softens personal blame without erasing responsibility. The sentence that reflects this broader view is, you were part of a larger story. This sentence allows compassion without collapse.
Compassion that does not require sacrifice. Another important completion comes with releasing the role of witness. Many children became witnesses to pain that was not meant for them. Conflict, loneliness, violence, despair. They watched, absorbed, remembered. And part of them stayed there. The healing sentence that releases this role is, I saw enough. This sentence gives permission to stop watching, to stop scanning, to stop anticipating. Your nervous system learns that the danger is no longer present. Another layer of completion involves honoring the cost without staying loyal to it. You can say inwardly, it was hard. And also, and I am here. These two sentences together create balance. They acknowledge pain and affirm survival. Neither erases the other. There is also a moment when gratitude becomes simple, not emotional, not dramatic, just factual. The sentence is, I am glad I am alive.
This sentence often arises naturally, without effort. Because when conflict with parents no longer dominates the inner landscape, life itself becomes more visible. Another important movement is letting parents carry their own legacy. Some adult children unconsciously carry their parents' regrets, unfulfilled dreams, or missed chances. They feel pressure to succeed for them. The healing sentence here is respectful and freeing. Your life is yours.
Mine is mine. This sentence allows success to be enjoyed, not justified. It also allows failure to be owned, not inherited. Another sign of completion is the return of simplicity. You stop analyzing every interaction. You stop reading between lines. You stop rehearsing responses. The sentence that reflects this is, I am present. Presence replaces vigilance, and vigilance is what kept conflict alive. There is also healing in allowing parents to age, weaken, or fade without panic.
This can be difficult because the child part often feels responsible again. The sentence that stabilizes this moment is, I stay in my place. This sentence protects both generations. Parents are allowed to be parents, even when they are no longer strong. Children are allowed to be children, even as adults. Another subtle but profound completion happens when expectations dissolve. Not because they were fulfilled, but because they are no longer needed. The sentence is, I expect nothing. This sentence does not close the heart. It opens it. Because expectation is a contract with the past. Freedom lives in the present. As healing integrates, something else becomes clear. You were never meant to resolve everything with your parents. You were meant to receive life and live it. That is the only real task. Bert Hellinger often emphasized that reconciliation with parents is not measured by closeness or harmony.
It is measured by flow. Does life flow through you? If it does, reconciliation has happened. Even if words were never spoken, even if apologies never came, even if understanding remained limited. Life flowing forward is the sign. The final integrating sentence, often felt rather than spoken, is, I am in my life. Not in the past, not in the story, not in the conflict. In your life. And when you are in your life, parents find their place naturally. Behind you, as sources, as origins, not as obstacles. From this place, love becomes quiet. And quiet love does not bind, it supports. If this series helped you see your relationship with your parents from a new place, take a moment to share your experience in the comments. Which sentence stayed with you? Which one brought the most relief? Your words may be exactly what someone else needs to feel less alone.
There is a point in healing where you no longer feel the need to revisit the story. Not because it stopped mattering, but because it stopped defining you. This moment does not arrive with fireworks or certainty. It arrives quietly, almost unnoticed, like a breath you did not realize you were holding being released. For a long time, your relationship with your parents may have lived inside you as tension, something unfinished, something unresolved, something that demanded energy, attention, explanation. Even in silence, it spoke. Even in distance, it pulled. And then, slowly, something changes. Not outside, inside. In Family Constellations, Bert Hellinger observed that true healing is not emotional catharsis, it is repositioning. When the inner position changes, the system reorganizes on its own. You are no longer standing in front of your parents, asking them to see you. You are no longer standing above them, judging what they failed to give. You are no longer standing below them, shrinking yourself to belong. You are standing after them. This is not symbolic, it is structural. Standing after your parents means accepting that life came through them and now moves forward through you. Nothing more is required. Nothing else needs to be proven. One of the deepest misunderstandings about healing parental conflict is the belief that something must be said or done to complete it. In reality, completion is internal. You may never have the conversation you imagined. You may never receive the apology you deserved. You may never feel understood by them. And still, healing can be complete. Because healing is not agreement, it is alignment. Alignment with reality as it was, and with life as it is now. When this alignment settles, you may notice something subtle. Your parents occupy less mental space, not because you don't care, but because care is no longer mixed with struggle.
You think of them as people, not as problems, as part of your origin, not as obstacles to your future. This is a significant shift. In systemic terms, it means the bond has moved from entanglement to connection. Entanglement demands, connection allows. Another sign of this stage is emotional proportionality. Reactions match the moment, not the past. A comment no longer feels like an attack. A silence no longer feels like abandonment. A boundary no longer feels like betrayal. You respond instead of react. And responding requires presence. Presence returns when the nervous system no longer lives in alert mode around parental figures. For many people, this is the first time their body feels truly at rest. Not numb, not detached, rested. There is also a new kind of grief that may appear here. Not the grief of what happened, but the grief of recognizing that you are truly moving on. This grief is quiet, almost tender.
It says, "That chapter mattered, and it no longer needs my energy." Letting go of struggle can feel like losing something familiar. Even pain can become part of identity. But when pain loosens, space opens. And space invites life. In this phase, responsibility becomes clear in a different way. Not responsibility for fixing the past. Not responsibility for carrying family wounds. But responsibility for your own direction. This responsibility is no longer heavy. It is stabilizing. You realize, no one is stopping me now. This can be both freeing and frightening. Because if your life is truly yours, then waiting no longer makes sense. Waiting for parents to change. Waiting for recognition. Waiting for permission. All of that dissolves. And what remains is choice. Choice requires courage. But it also restores dignity. Another important integration happens here. The reconciliation of love and distance.
Many people believe that love requires closeness, or sacrifice, or constant involvement. Systemically, this is not true. Love requires order. When parents are in their place and children are in theirs, love flows even across distance. You may speak less, visit less, share less, and feel more peace. This does not mean the bond weakened. It means it is no longer strained. In this stage, gratitude often becomes quieter, no longer emotional, no longer forced, just factual. I am alive. I received life. That is enough to go on. This kind of gratitude does not cancel pain. It integrates it. Pain becomes part of the story, not the center of it. Another subtle shift is how you relate to authority and hierarchy in general. When parental conflict resolves internally, authority outside the family loses its emotional charge. Bosses are just people. Rules are just structures.
Criticism is just information. You no longer respond from the child position. You respond as an adult. This adulthood is not rigid, it is flexible. You can say yes without fear. You can say no without guilt. Because your sense of belonging no longer depends on approval. It depends on place. And your place is secure. You may also notice changes in how you relate to your own children, if you have them, or to younger people in general. You are less reactive, less corrective, more present. Because you are no longer parenting from unresolved pain. You are parenting or relating from clarity. This is one of the most important gifts healing parental conflict gives to the system. It stops transmission. Not by rejection, by resolution. Another sign of completion is simplicity in language. You no longer need long explanations. You don't justify your choices endlessly. You don't rehearse conversations that may never happen. Your inner dialogue becomes quieter.
And quiet inner dialogue creates emotional availability. Availability for relationships, for creativity, for joy. Joy, in particular, often returns gently, not as excitement, as ease. You laugh more easily. You enjoy small things. You feel present in moments without analyzing them. This is not accidental. Joy emerges naturally when the system is no longer overloaded. When loyalty no longer requires suffering. In this stage, you may also feel compassion for your parents that is different from before. Not rescuing compassion, not excusing compassion. Human compassion. You see them as limited, shaped, affected by their own histories. This does not erase accountability. It simply removes the emotional demand that they be different now. You stop asking life to rewrite the past, and life responds by supporting the present. One of the clearest markers of systemic completion is this inner sentence, often unspoken. I am free to live.
Not against my parents, not despite my parents, through them. Freedom here is not rebellion, it is flow. Flow of life forward. When life flows forward, the past naturally settles behind you. You do not have to push it away. You simply move, and movement changes perspective. From here, conflicts with parents may still exist externally. Disagreements, distance, different values. But they no longer dominate your inner world. They are contextual, not central. This is the difference between having a history and being trapped in it. Bert Hellinger emphasized that reconciliation with parents is not measured by emotional closeness. It is measured by vitality. Do you feel more alive, more grounded, more present in your own life? If yes, the reconciliation has happened, even if nothing was ever said, even if nothing was ever acknowledged, even if nothing ever changed externally. Life itself is the confirmation.
And life only flows when order is restored. The final movement in this process is acceptance without resignation. Acceptance that your parents were who they were. Acceptance that your childhood unfolded as it did. Acceptance that some things were lost. And at the same time, acceptance that life continues. This is not settling. This is maturity. Maturity does not mean approving the past. It means no longer being governed by it. From this place, you stand fully in your own life. You carry your parents behind you, not as weight, but as origin. You carry their humanity, not their burden. And you walk forward. This is where healing completes itself, not with answers, not with closure, but with movement. If this journey through solution phrases and systemic understanding touched something real in you, take a moment to leave a comment. Share which sentence stayed with you or what shifted inside as you listened.
Your words may help someone else recognize that healing is possible, not by changing the past, but by changing their place within it. And that is where life truly begins.